We're going somewhere exciting today. We're going to the Pilansberg, and we're going to talk about the tech around poaching. Come along. Before we talk about technology, it helps to be clear about what poaching actually is and why it happens. Poaching is the illegal killing or capturing of wildlife, usually inside protected areas or without permits. In southern Africa, when people talk about poaching, they're often referring to high-value species, especially rhinos, because their horns are trafficked through international criminal networks. And poaching doesn't happen randomly. It happens because there's global demand, mostly outside of Africa. Because organized crime groups make serious money further up the supply chain. And because people on the ground are sometimes recruited into extremely dangerous work in places where economic pressure is real. So this isn't just a local crime problem. It's a market, operating across borders, inside landscapes that are vast and difficult to control. That's the context. So we have arrived at the place. So the first question I have is, how does one even protect against poaching in these places? Yeah, the first thing that you will notice when standing in a game reserve or, say, the Pilansberg is the scale. Yeah, the Pilansberg covers hundreds of square kilometers, and you can't patrol it evenly. You can't put a ranger everywhere. So protection isn't about constant presence. It's about where you focus attention and how early you know when something is wrong. That's where technology starts to matter, not as a replacement for people, but as a way to help limited number of rangers see more, decide faster, and respond before damage is done. So the next question I have is, what kind of technology actually gets used here? It's less futuristic than people would imagine, more practical. One big part is aerial surveillance. Parks like the Pilansberg use aircrafts and drones to scan large and hard to reach areas, especially at night, when human patrols are limited. Then there are camera systems, but not cameras everywhere. They're placed in access points, fence lines, and known movement corridors where intrusion is more likely. Thermal imaging is another key tool. At night, it allows rangers to detect human bodies in the bush when normal visibility is close to zero. And none of this works without communication. So there are also radio systems, GPS trackings, and digital coordination tools that let teams know quickly where each other are and where to go to respond quickly. Most of this tech isn't about constant monitoring. It's about early warning, seeing something before it turns into a loss. Is this about watching animals, or is it about watching people? Mostly, it's about people. The technology isn't tracking animals going about their normal behavior. It's looking for human movement where it shouldn't be. At night, along restricted paths, or in areas that are usually quiet. Thermal cameras don't identify who someone is or where they are. They just detect heat and movement. That's enough to alert rangers when something is unusual, and when to intervene early, rather than discovering a carcass later on. Do you think technology can fix poaching?
It already is. There's drones and all sorts of things.
But do you think technology is enough, or do you still need people on the road?
Well, it can definitely help fight poaching.
The answer is no. And that's important to say clearly. Technology doesn't fix the reasons poaching exists. It doesn't address poverty, it doesn't eliminate global demand, it doesn't dismantle organized trafficking networks operating far beyond the park. What technology does is shift the balance on the ground. It reduces response time, it makes it harder to move undetected, it increases the chances that someone is intercepted before an animal is killed. So it doesn't solve the problem, but makes the work of protecting wildlife more realistic. And you can say it gives rangers a fighting chance. So what is really happening here? What's really happening is that conservation has had to adapt. The threats are organized, they often happen at night, and they operate in landscapes that are too large to protect using patrols alone. So conservation becomes a mix of fieldwork and technology. Aerial surveillance for coverage, thermal and cameras for detection, and communication systems for fast coordination. There's also work that happens after incidents like wildlife forensics. In South Africa, a system exists that can link seized rhino horns back to specific animals or population, helping investigations and prosecutions. A small bit of radioactive material in horns that does not damage the rhino, but it automatically is detected in any airports. None of this is about turning nature into a high-tech zone. It's about using available tools to protect something under constant pressure, in a world where the threats are persistent and well-resourced. Poaching isn't stopped by one invention. It reduces when detection happens earlier, responses are faster, and coordination works under pressure. Standing here, you realize how fragile the balance is. This isn't about technology versus nature. It's about people trying to protect animals from other people, with limited time, limited resources, and no room for mistakes.
Okay, this is a big moment in Bianca's young life. Okay, so this is the famous South African feta and herb dip that got sold out at Woolworths. This is the taste test. Also, cheers. There. Brian is that way. Okay.
Gonna have it with lentil chips.
Smells like feta and herb. Okay, this is what the chips look like. And it's got the perfect scoop
It's a scoopable chip, yep.
that you grab in here. And when you eat it. Oh, this is good, bro.
It's
This
really
is
good.
dangerous.
This is why we bought 2 boxes of it, or 2 tubs.
I think 4 for 3 was probably a deal most people were actually
That's
probably
why
buying.
we sold out.
All right. In the meantime,